Don't let the breeze fool you. It is smoking hot here at Texas Motor Speedway. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series practice and qualifying. A steamy one here in Texas today, and a little forecast doesn't look so great for later today. So here's the deal. Rain in the forecast for later, but it's dry right now. It's hot. We're going to race tonight, maybe a little rain shower in between. So with Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, what do you prepare for in this practice if you're going to have different conditions, cooler, and after a rain shower later tonight?
You're just basically checking out all your technology, your sim, making sure you set the truck up in a proper way. The drivers are going to hit this track, see if the nose is hitting the ground, what kind of attitude they got, how their balance is. But I'm telling you, Vince, the heat is a big story here today, but more so this wind. I mean, I can't wait to watch these trucks battle this wind. It's so hard, stiff. It's blowing like 30 miles an hour, and that's a real challenge, especially off turn 2 over there. It sharpens up really fast anyway. That'll make that exit really difficult. So, Phil, I think during this practice session, you just kind of want to make sure you know what you got under you, and then you got to go to work and think, what do we adjust when it's going to be so cool and when the sun goes down tonight?
Yeah, there's not that many things that they can adjust to. Obviously, these guys can only adjust basically what you would do on a pit stop, and that's the thing that the simulation can't tell you about is the 20-mile-an-hour winds that we have right here now. These trucks are going to be zinging when they get down to turn 3 with that tailwind behind them.
Well, you saw on the graphic a moment ago, 94 degrees and track temp at 127.
As a racer, I look at track temp, 127, and that gets your attention alone without even coupling the wind in with the difficulty of this practice session.
But when it's 94 degrees outside, I mean, it's even hotter in the car than if it would be if it was 80.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Probably 130 to 40 degrees inside of these trucks.
Maybe not a big deal when you're talking about a 20-minute practice session, but when you're talking about being in the truck for a couple hours later tonight.
Yeah, even the temperature at race time tonight's going to be in the high 80s. It's not going to cool off that much.
On board with Ty Majeski. Other than the 4 who have won races this season, Majeski highest in points. He sits 5th in the playoff standings.
He certainly made a case last week at Kansas for him to be a potential winner.
I think he's a win waiting to happen. We've seen so much performance out of the 66 group. Great onboard shot there. And as I say that, right to the top of the board, fastest so far is that 66, so Ty Majeski.
Coming off that career best finish, runner-up last week at Kansas.
You notice the difference in the racetrack, that black stuff in the corners, that's traction compound. That was just put down this week to try to give those second and third lanes some more grip.
How about what Majeski has done this season? Are you surprised with how effective he's been?
I'm really not that surprised. They paired him with Joe Shear Jr., who's won so many races with Johnny Sauter. And Ty really jumped in this truck for a handful of races last year and was very competitive. So this first full-time opportunity with Thor Sport for him, and he's certainly making the most of it.
And when you've put your truck in the top 5 on multiple occasions, you are just a break away from winning.
And you know, that average finish of 11th, that's solid as well. You did get it done on all types of tracks, and he's been able to do just that.
Only one driver has an average finish under 10, and that's Zane Smith. John Hunter Nemechek, winner at this race a year ago, and for more, here's Josh Sims.
Yeah, and when you're looking for drivers to watch, John Hunter Nemechek in that 4 truck is certainly the guy. He's won 2 straight poles, and like you mentioned, Vince, won this race last year, also won an Xfinity race here as well. When talking to him before, the confidence is there. They've had a strong truck. The thing he talked about was figuring out this traction compound on the track as he's out there right now running through practice and making laps. But KBM has actually won 4 of the last 5 races here, so certainly John Hunter Nemechek with a lot to smile about and a lot to be confident about. Just looking to get another pole for him and set him up for this race here later tonight, guys.
Well, that's interesting, Josh. You mentioned KBM having won 4 of the last 5 here. The mile-and-a-half track in general is right in their wheelhouse. I mean, they've won 2 of the 3 so far this season.
And have always been good. All-time leaders in mile-and-a-half wins. Kyle Busch himself is the all-time leader as a driver in wins on the mile-and-a-halfs.
We talked about the ability Majeski has to go to victory lane. Derek Kraus up in the top 5. You see Ross Chastain, there's Zane Smith hopping up to 2nd position. So a lot of trucks we see running fast week in and week out are populating our top 5.
Here's last year here at Texas, green flag pit stop. Nemechek got out ahead of Chase Elliott and won the race. Looking to come back and do it again later tonight.
And we saw the show he put on at Darlington earlier this year, just a few weeks ago, and to win that race in dominating fashion as well.
It was off a little bit last week at Kansas, wasn't it?
Yeah, and on the last restart particularly, didn't get a good launch and wound up smacking the wall and finishing outside the top 5. But I expect him to bounce right back. After that performance at Darlington, Phil, I thought he was going to win all the rest of the races this year. And he looked great in practice and qualifying at Kansas, but then obviously the truck series is way too competitive for one guy to win all the races.
Well, and I think it's a compliment to John Hunter and crew chief Eric Phillips, that entire 4 group, that when you say he was off a bit and finished 6th.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ross Chastain got him a couple of cup wins so far this season. Going to play with the trucks here tonight.
No takers so far, Phil, into the traction compound. You can see Ross hooking that white line off turn 2. Really flattens out off turn 2. A difficult exit there. But he stayed well low of the darker traction compound.
Some of the crew chiefs were telling me that they didn't know. Obviously, we only have a 20-minute practice session, and then qualifying in the Xfinity Series a little bit later on.
That's a tough break for Chris Hacker in that 33 truck. Significant damage.
Big wreck.
You're going to have to come all the way around.
Well, you could hear the frustration in the voice there.
Back of the truck there, pretty good, guys.
Got more than that, pretty good. As his first lap on the track, so see if we can figure out exactly what went down with Hacker. He was
up in that traction compound. You were just talking about that, Michael, saying that nobody had really ventured up there, and that's the worry about this is maybe it's slippery. We know that wind is blowing really hard, and it blows a lot of dirt that sticks to that traction compound. So nobody wants to be the first guy in that traction compound.
And I don't think he purposely went there, Phil. You could see he entered it kind of late in the center of the corner. Must have got loose on entry maybe and slid up into it, and then it was over.
Well, about 7 minutes into this 20-minute practice session. Coming back for more and qualifying just ahead as well as we set the field for the race tonight. Chris Hacker gone around heavy contact. Coming up on Sunday on FS1, the NASCAR All-Star Race takes center stage. The best drivers battling for $1 million. It all starts with the All-Star Open at 5:30 Eastern. The main event at 8. You see it only on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Great to have you with us today. Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch, and 1996 All-Star winner Michael Waltrip.
I didn't get $1 million, Vince. You think I could charge him for the rest?
I would. I'd try that. Run that up to $3.
It probably would work. It probably would work.
What'd you get for that?
$212,000. And in Victory Lane, I told the world I was going to build my mom and daddy a house. And by the time I got my part and built the house, I went upside down about a couple $100 grand. But at the moment, it was the best feeling in the whole world, standing in Victory Lane with the Wood brothers at the All-Star race.
You still have the trophy there.
Oh, I got that trophy. It's precious.
Matt Crafton's got a couple of trophies from right here at Texas Motor Speedway. 2-time winner. How about a little radio with some issues in the 88?
Pulled rubbers out of the left rear to try to compensate for the simulator deal, so obviously that was a wrong move. Is there, I mean, I don't know what you can make for adjustments. I mean, can you do tow or anything like that? Is that a possibility? Not supposed to be able to, no, and I would hate to try to move it on a whim and not know exactly what we did.
You know, that goes right back to what I said in the opening. You know, you're basically just confirming what simulation told you and the decisions you made on your setup. There's some minor adjustments that you can make down on pit road, but changing the toe isn't one of those. And so Matt was just being inquisitive about what all they could do. His experience, his knowledge of this racetrack. He's won here. Obviously, that means he knows exactly what he's looking for, and it's not there yet.
What his crew chief Jeff Hensley was talking about is they learned something in the simulator, and they did what they learned in the simulator, and it didn't work. It went the other direction. So obviously you have all the tools you have, but it's still nothing like getting down this racetrack as we see John Hunter Nemechek move to the inside of Crafton now.
And well, you know, it's compounded by the fact that it's going to get cooler, and the sun's going down, and the track will change again. So these guys got some decisions to make. This is a good story this year, right? Starting to run near the top 10. Colby Howard up in the, so far he's 8th in this practice session. We've seen faster and faster speeds from him. That's fun to see when a kid comes in and just gets it.
Yeah, his last 3 starts are all in the top 13, so he's going in the right direction for sure.
Working down.
He's a 31.07, same laps on the tires. He's P1.
The 91, Colby Howard. Mentioned, look at those results, the last 3 finishes right there inside the top 15 and knocking on the door of his first career top 10.
And his crew chief was telling him 30.98 was his lap time, and Majeski, who's fastest, was just a 30.70. So that means, you know, we're in the ballpark. Now we just need to tweak it a little bit to be up there with the fastest guys.
On board with last week's winner, Zane Smith.
We could hear from his onboard, never got completely out of the throttle down there in turn 3 and 4, and that's where the wind pushing him into turn 3. Let's see what 1 and 2 does here. It's obviously a little bit flatter, about 4 degrees flatter than the other end.
And he is all the way out of
all the way out of the gas, staying right on the bottom now, trying to work back into the throttle, trying to get back wide open. Took him a while to get wide open.
Right side grip there.
He may have been coming in, is why he didn't get full throttle any sooner.
This wind is blowing really from like turn 2 across the track toward turn 4. It matters from which direction the wind is blowing.
It certainly does. It'll push the truck up coming off turn 4. Fortunately for the drivers today, that's a more sweeping radius. They've got more room to exit off turn 4 and swing out. Boy, if that wind was blowing across the track the other way towards turn 2, that would certainly make that corner even more of a handful.
How about the size of Big Hoss there, that giant screen, the second largest screen in the United States. If you laid that down on the ground, it would be about a ½ acre worth of land. That's pretty expensive these days. Believe that?
It is by our house anyway, isn't it, Michael?
218 feet wide and 94.5 feet tall. That's a big screen.
And that's
Big Hoss.
That's Marcus Smith and SMI. They want everybody that comes to the racetrack to have a great time. That TV over there is just beautiful. The new midway out front. So many activities, bands, great food. They really do it right here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Got a lot going on this weekend, that's for sure. And it's a triple header weekend. You got Xfinity Series tomorrow, and the Cup guys, of course, on Sunday night with the All-Star race, as you see Carson Hocevar, just 19 years old, and another one who's knocking on the door of a first career win.
Yeah, his practice session has been interesting to me, guys. I've been following him a little bit here on the most consecutive laps. He was down in 20th. He didn't run his fastest lap until lap 11. And that last time by, we heard Majeski's time of 30.78. He ran a 76. So right now, whatever minor adjustments
right in there.
that team made has got him right in the game. Anytime you can run your fastest lap at a place that traditionally tires fall off at a few laps in, that gives you really good confidence about what you're going to have when you go racing.
And an important race for Al needs to. Al is from Texas. Will have 5 trucks here, adding Ross Chastain to the 4 trucks that run full time.
The stars of the Camping World Truck Series getting work done here at Texas.
I love how we embrace the men and women of the military that are with us today and how we honor and respect those ones that have passed.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
This is a big event. This is a crown jewel. It has tradition and history that surrounds it, and you feel that electricity.
I know we're racing tonight, but we're racing for them, for what they've done for us.
The Coca-Cola 600 Memorial Day weekend.
The final couple of minutes of Camping World Truck Series practice before we line them up and qualify for the race later tonight. Ty Majeski fastest so far, and Zane Smith second quickest. A little radio from Smith talking about that wind that we just discussed.
That was pretty much the first time where I feel like I've kind of broken free, but it's definitely manageable. Later in the run there, I was still starting to blow through the front center exit. I don't know if it's wind off of 2 or what, but I feel like it, like motor related, like lays down, but it might be wind stalling me out, not sure.
Well, you have so many questions with that wind. The motor will make you look down at your tachometer. There's no speedometers in these trucks. They have a tach, and when that motor doesn't sound exactly right, you look at your tach, where'd everything go? It could have been just a gust of headwind that hit them.
Yeah, we talk about that tailwind getting these guys into turn 3. Well, just the opposite's going to happen when they come off of turn number 4. They're going to hit that headwind, and there's times back in the day when we used to do so much testing at Daytona Talladega, when we had speedometers for testing with telemetry, that we would come off turn 2 and actually lose speed the distance of the backstretch with such a strong headwind. So that definitely affects these trucks.
Here's a good look at the 23 of Grant Enfinger. Back-to-back finishes of 3rd. More on Grant with Josh.
Yeah, and early on in practice, Grant Enfinger was worried about the handling of the truck, said it was a little too tight in 1 and 2 and a little too loose in 3 and 4. And he was concerned about how it might handle in traffic. Well, they made some adjustments. He said it feels 20% better in the front end of that truck. But the big thing for him, he's been talking about having the speed. He says he feels they are 60% towards where they need to be to compete for wins. He's had the battle each and every week, but he's had 2 third-place finishes in a row. So he said things are getting a lot better for that team right now.
And Josh, I thought it was interesting. We saw him creeping up into the traction compound in 1 and 2. That's going to be something we'll follow all night long tonight, how much they're able to use that as this practice session comes to an end.
It does indeed, with Ty Majeski on top. Enfinger ended up 9th. What I like about Enfinger, though, from that veteran perspective, he finished 3rd last week at Kansas. His average running position was 14th. I mean, you take a 14th place truck and finish in the top 5 with it, you've done a heck of a job.
Well, he was at Darlington and got that top 3 finish, and I went and visited him after that, he and his pig Wilbur, and I'm like, you guys are closing in on it. You're getting closer and closer. And he said, we are. And then as bad as he ran all night long at Kansas, jumps up and gets that finish. That's a good sign for this team.
Majeski fastest in practice. Can he back it up and win the pole here at Texas? Texas Motor Speedway on a hot, steamy Friday afternoon. See our cameramen out there on the roof, and thanks to all those, give us a wave, all those that are working hard on the roof and down on pit road and everywhere else in this heat.
How about that team meeting?
Yep.
Little debrief there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's valuable too when you got a experienced driver like John Hunter to share his thoughts with you.
Well, and the highest of the KBM trucks was 7th, so is that a little concern for that group?
You don't know what their agenda was during that practice.
That's what's interesting about this format, Vince. You know, you go out there and you just run lap after lap because you want to know what you've got in the race if you're a guy like John Hunter. You don't really care about qualifying. So I think that they just aren't going to worry about the scoring pylon right now at this point. Josh, you have more information on that?
Yeah, John Hunter Nemechek just getting done with a debrief with the team. Can you talk about the importance of what you guys were talking about and figuring out to get the speed you want for later on?
Yeah, so we're practicing right now. It's really hot. Track temp is way up. And I don't think that we're going to be racing in this temp later tonight. So just trying to figure out balance-wise between the 3 trucks with the teammates, and we all fired off a little bit different. So trying to see where we need to end up for tonight. But I feel like my guys have brought a really fast Tom Thumb Albertson's Toyota Tundra TRD Pro here for us today, and trying to go repeat last year. So hopefully we can take home the W, get the 2nd one of the year. We have a little bit of work to do, but I know that my guys will continue to work, and I'll go study a little bit, and we'll be better for tonight.
John Hunter trying to go back-to-back in this race.
Good stuff there, and John Hunter mentioned not going to be as hot later tonight. Right now, temperature says it's 93. If we go till, say, 8 o'clock local, would be 9 o'clock Eastern, you're looking at 6 degrees cooler. What difference does 6 degrees make? And is it the sun not being out because it's obviously going to be nighttime? Is that more of a factor than the actual degree difference?
I think it's track temperature, don't you, Michael?
100%.
I mean, the ambient temperature is one thing, but we'll probably see maybe 20, 25 degree difference in track temperature, and that's the key, I think.
So
that's
going
where the
from 127, what we see here on the track temp, down to somewhere around 100?
I would guess so.
Yeah.
Even without the sun.
And what does that do to the handling of the truck?
Grip. It just makes all 4 tires stick better. And a lot of times, you know, if you are focused on having that front end working really good, it can make the truck looser. Makes it faster, but it could make it a little bit looser because you get the front sticking better first, and then the back gets there and has to grab on.
That's not much fun, is it?
I think it's exciting for us, right?
Depends on what's your perspective, right?
Where you're looking on from.
Qualifying coming up next. Stay with us. Texas Motor Speedway, Camping World Truck Series, qualifying getting ready to get underway. The 3 of Jordan Anderson behind the wall. Team tending to it, trying to get that truck ready for qualifying.
He was up on Jack Stans a minute ago there. You said he's the first truck to go too. So even though they had trouble, he would only get 5 minutes from the time they would let the first truck go. So good to see Jordan getting ready to go back out.
Ty Majeski was fastest in that 20-minute practice session. He's with Josh.
Yeah, Ty, what can you take away from that speed you had during practice that can help you in qualifying, but more importantly, the race, given how these conditions are going to change a lot?
Well, like I told you in Darlington, it's always easier when you unload with good speed. Makes the whole weekend go a little bit more smooth. So obviously super windy out there today. It's a headwind coming down the front stretch, so creates for a little bit tighter condition in 1 and 2, and the opposite in 3 and 4. So just fought the balance a little bit, just working on the balance, trying to get it where we need. Really happy to have Road Ranger on board this weekend. Brand new sponsor for us, brand new sponsor to NASCAR. So really happy to have good speed here with the Road Ranger truck. So have a really fast Toyota Tundra DRD Pro. Hopefully we can sit on the pole here.
Ty Majeski closing in on that first career victory.
Man, sorry, Josh, for that exclamation during the tail end of the interview. Todd Bodine about sideways.
He was completely sideways. You know, Todd tried to make the track bigger. He went above the traction compound, and then when he came back down through the traction compound, nobody had been up that high during that entire practice session, so it was slippery. He needed a nice job saving that truck.
And that's going to be the talk of the spotter stand for these first trucks that go. He's got to hold it down. It slipped up there, and we know how loose it is off. He's able to hang on to it. That's the talk on the spotters, telling their drivers, don't get up in the traction compound during this qualifying session. We'll see if Todd cleaned it off for some others to give that a try.
This will be Todd's 3rd start of the season. Of course, chasing 800 career NASCAR starts. 2-time champion in the trucks.
Wide open, 30-61. Good lap for Todd.
And it didn't look like a very sanitary 1 and 2. This is the thing that got my attention. Watch this, Vince.
That's the second the rear tires got in that traction compound, that thing jumped sideways.
That old man really held on to it good, didn't he?
He did.
Next out, the 41 of Ross Chastain.
There goes Ross up in it as well. Maybe he's got a different plan.
Jordan Anderson was scheduled to be the first qualifier. You saw that the team was working on his truck, but they have gotten the repairs made, and Anderson will be the next one out. If you're a Jordan Anderson fan, wondering why he has not gone yet.
This young man's been fun to watch this year, hasn't he? In the Cup Series, Ross Chastain, I would dare say the surprise of the season so far.
And I love it because no matter where you go, he's the story that weekend. He just gets it done on all different types of racetracks. And I tell you who's just a couple of steps behind him, and that's Daniel Suarez. That car has a lot of speed too. He's just had a lot of issues, but a really fast car for Daniel at Kansas last week.
This will be Ross's 3rd start in the truck this season. Hasn't got many breaks. 23rd and 26th as the finishing result, but always better than that number. Those numbers, that's for sure.
Yeah, good lap for Ross. 30-16, a 10th faster than what Majeski's fast lap was in practice.
Yeah, that was the fastest lap we've seen today, so good speed for Ross. Gonna have to watch him tonight.
Back to Josh.
Here with Matty D, not going to be able to qualify. What happened during practice that resulted in that?
Well, Josh, I don't know, man. We're just, we should have, I think, an automatic spot just picked to start in the back and come through the field. We've been having to do it every week. This one was an honest mistake. I mean, we need to know the rules. There's no excuse for it, but we were making just a wedge adjustment for the race, and it's a new rule this week that you cannot turn the wedge bolts in the front underneath the hood, so we did that, and just a mistake that we needed to be more aware of. And it's, you know, it's a product of a lot of people here wearing a lot of hats. small team struggles, and my crew chief, Chad Kendrick, he does a lot, multiple roles, and people are trying to, we have a hard-working team and good people, just spread thin, I think. So, but, you got to still thank Rackley Roofing and More Shocks and the guys, Chevrolet, that's trying to get this team growing. We got the speed, we can run up there. We've just had to overcome so much every week and be driving through the field. So I told you earlier, I just want a smooth week, and then here we are, first thing starting off this way.
Well, Matty D, hoping the rest of the day after this goes smoothly.
Yeah, it's not a good sign when your interviews always begin with a big sigh.
Well, what happened this time was, and that's we laugh, but Matt laughs too. He's like, I know I'm better than this. I know our team's small, as he said, but we're better than this. And you make some mistakes, and eventually you get it figured out.
They did drive through the field.
last week.
Yeah,
yes,
last
sir.
week got up to 7th finishing position.
That was a strategy call that worked out. Got some tires late.
I was talking to crew chief Chad Kendrick down in the garage here, and he was talking to his tire guy. That was actually his interior guy. As Matt was talking about people wearing hats. His tire guy's a little bit under the weather, not able to be here, has a back issue. So the interior guy is here doing tires, and Chad was explaining to him what he needed to do and look for. So Matt's right. Just got a lot of guys wearing a lot of hats.
Here's Brett Holmes. Looking to make his 4th start of the season. Was a career best 8th at Las Vegas. Shane Huffman, the crew chief on this truck.
When you get through 1 and 2, Vince, and it handled pretty good, you go down that back straightaway with a lot of confidence because there's extra banking in 3 and 4, and you can really lay it on the floorboard and hang on.
That's one thing I was thinking about when we were talking to Ty Majeski, and he was talking about the headwind coming down the front stretch, the tailwind coming down the back stretch. But to add to that, you have different corners. 4 degree less banking down in 1 and 2 than the 24 degrees you have down in 3 and 4.
Armani Williams was scheduled to be the next qualifier, but he's not going to qualify. Unapproved adjustments along with DiBenedetto. Armani Williams will not get a qualifying attempt, so that skips us to Garrett Smithley, and good to see Garrett back in the truck, looking to make his first start of the season. In fact, hasn't had a truck start since 2020, but a regular in the NASCAR garage, whether it's Xfinity or Cup.
He has a top 15 here at Texas in the truck series in the past. I think back in 2019.
This turn's a real challenge. The folks at Texas Motor Speedway said, how can we make this track more difficult? Because we want the racers to have to battle here at Texas, and they flattened that corner out. Got $1 million on the line Sunday night. Woo. How about that? Our buddy Otop O'Dine's beaten 3 trucks here. It's a couple tenths better than he did in practice. See where he hangs in there.
30.93 for Smithley. A variety of different drivers have been in that 20 machine this season. Always good to see Garrett down here with the Camping World Truck Series. Brings us to the 46, and that's Brennan Poole. 30th a couple of weeks ago at Darlington, was 28th at Atlanta.
Home game.
Home game.
Yes, sir.
That's all. That always feels good, man. I grew up in Kentucky, and when we went to the Kentucky Speedway, and anytime you could race over in Nashville, your friends are there. It just is a great feeling.
He's going to try that traction compound.
That's the first guy to do that up in that end.
31.13 was his best speed in practice.
Came to the line with some speed.
Certainly tracking well better than that practice speed, that's for sure.
He's got some experience, knows how to push it when it comes time to go. And again, like we talked after practice, some of these guys weren't on a qualifying mission during practice. They weren't worried about that 1 lap speed. They wanted to know what it would do after 5 or 10 laps. So we could see some big shakeups in the starting lineup compared to practice.
And a solid effort from Brennan Poole, slots in with a 6.62.
Picks up a half second, Vince. That's your job as a driver. Go out there and get me some. The crew chief will tell him. Brennan did just that.
The 9 of Blaine Perkins. He's run all the races except for Martinsville this season. West Coaster, Bakersfield, California. Kevin Harvick's hometown. A lot of good racers from out that part of the country.
Oh, yeah. Rick and Roger Mears were a couple pretty good racers.
Yeah, they did all right.
Yeah.
Good looking attitude on that truck. You can see all these trucks with the nose right flat down on the ground, taking advantage of the aerodynamics. Put in a good run to the green there. Anytime you see a truck up there toward the top when he comes across the start-finish line, that means he did his job leaving pit road.
He heads down the backstretch into turn 3. As he comes off 4, you'll see a pretty good bump that the drivers hit.
It's a good corner for him. You see him wide open through there. Struggled a little bit down in 1 and 2. That's where he lost the majority of that time, but still going to be a pretty solid lap here for Blaine.
6:54. Third quickest so far, but we're just getting started. 38 drivers looking for 36 spots to go racing tonight at Texas.
In NASCAR, the journey begins with one simple start. Turn, bump, win, and celebration. I am the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. I am NASCAR.
Camping World Truck Series qualifying from Texas Motor Speedway. Race coverage begins tonight, 7:30. Hope you'll join us for that. Right now, we've got some business to take care of to set the field. And here's Spencer Boyd, opened up the season with an 11th place finish at Daytona, his best result of the season.
Montucky, cold snacks on that number 12 truck.
Good looking truck too. Tyler Young, this is one of his 3 trucks, always brings nice looking equipment to the racetrack.
Is Montucky a combination of Montana and Kentucky?
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
I wasn't very good in geography.
I was terrible at it. I could barely do addition, let alone multiplication.
In the gas is Spencer Boyd, and 6th quickest with a 30.74. Downstairs to Josh.
Here with Haley Deegan, who was just saying this was one of her best and strongest tracks. How you feeling after practice about what you can do later tonight?
Actually really good. I feel like that's the best truck I've ever had to end a practice with, and I think we got a lot of speed, so we're going to hope for the best in qualifying. I kind of made a game plan with my crew chief because the big question is, are you going to go wide open or are you not in 1-2? And I think we're on the same game plan of we're going to try it. If it works out, we're going to look like a hero. If it doesn't, we're going to probably be 20th. But either way, we got a good game plan. We're on the same page, so we got a lot of speed in our truck this race, so we're going to get after it.
Thanks and good luck tonight.
Yeah, she was 13th in practice, Vince, and solid there, as she said. Likes her truck. That's a great feeling.
Here's Tyler Hill. He and his brother Timmy both running in this one tonight. They shared the 56 truck most races, but we've seen Tyler in the 5 the last couple of weeks. It was 21st last week at Kansas.
They were right together in practice, 32nd and 33rd. Tyler had the slight edge over Timmy.
30.81, 7th fastest so far.
Yeah, Tyler's going to have to qualify in on time. You have to be in the top 31 to assure yourself of a starting position. We know we have at least 3 trucks that aren't going to qualify. Obviously, Chris Hacker, Monty Williams, as well as Matt DiBenedetto. So that's 3 of the 7 trucks that you have to beat. So you'll have to beat 4 trucks that qualify on time. Right now, Tyler has beaten 2 trucks, so he'll need to beat a couple more trucks to ensure himself a starting spot tonight.
Benedetto and Williams not getting a chance because of unapproved adjustments. Hacker actually crashed during practice. If you're just joining us,
Jack Wood, a young racer out of California, another one of those California kids coming to NASCAR.
Good corner too. Good corner. You see him tracking only about 0.08 of a second off Ross Chastain's lap. To see if he can hold it down wide open through this end of the racetrack. A little bit easier down here at this end. Looks like he's going to be able to do that, and going to be a great lap for Jack Wood.
Yeah, he was saying that he's really looking forward to getting to tracks that he has been to before. This is not one of them. But when he does start hitting tracks for a second time, he's just a rookie, look for the results to perk up a bit. And he comes out of that GMS stable with Grant Infinger. It's always tough when you don't have much experience and then you go to a track you've never been to before. Always creates a little extra anxiety and challenge.
We know GMS has been so good here at this racetrack, obviously, as well as is KBM. Between those two teams, they've won the last 12 times that we've been to this racetrack.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Sure is.
That dates all the way back to 15, doesn't it?
I think so. Who was the last guy to win before GMS and KBM took over?
Sport.
Yeah.
Matt Crafton.
You're right. You're right.
Can't slip anything past him.
You can't.
Especially when the stats guys are here filling him with information.
He's been around for all these truck races, Vince.
That chalkboard he holds over there, Russell holds it up high and proud. Tells us exactly what we're looking for. There you see.
Russell and Joe from Racing Insights making us look smart.
We've lost Jimmy. Where's Jimmy?
Jimmy got the weekend off.
What about Chris Wright?
Yeah,
how about that?
Exactly the same lap time as Jack Wood. Exactly the same lap time. And the guy higher in owner points will get the nod for that position.
Won Texas race, 22nd here last year.
We mentioned Timmy Hill a little bit ago when brother Tyler was on track in that 5 truck. Here's Timmy in the 56. While we watch Timmy Hill's qualifying effort, let's go downstairs to Josh.
Here with Colby Howard, who's been knocking on the door of that top 10. You've been running well lately. What's been the difference for you and the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is we're all working together a lot more. You know, at the beginning of the year, things just weren't clicking, but now we're working better as a team. And like you said, we've had some really good runs recently, and hopefully today's the day.
Appreciate your time and good luck.
Nice talking about making today the day. I talked earlier about the speed he had and the finishes, the 3 in a row top 13. You start creeping in on that top 10, you start thinking, I can win one of these things before long, and you could hear his voice. He's confident about where he's headed.
And you're running right around the top 10, speaks to your consistency, and that in itself is a challenge for a young team. As you see Timmy Hill 12th quickest.
He shut it off before he got to the start-finish line.
A bit of an issue.
Some kind of an issue, and that's going to hurt. Timmy Hill's probably not going to make the top 31, but he may be able to fall back on his points for a provisional.
Here's Dean Thompson, another West Coaster, Anaheim, California, just 20 years old. See that 11th place finish at Las Vegas. So back here on the 1.5 miles, they have their expectations, I'm sure, a little higher after their good run at Vegas.
They've had some speed, I think, at times, Michael. They haven't got all the good finishes to go with it. But
I was thinking the same thing, Phil. And when you're a young racer like Dean and you put a finish on the board at a big 1.5 mile track and he almost crashed. Look at that speed. Watch it fall down. But he must have kept his foot in it because he's going back up. What an exit that was.
And out of the Nice garage, so right there with Chastain and Wright.
This might be a pole running speed right here, at least as of now.
And we're going to give him a half a tenth for style points.
Wow. How about that?
That's what he needed too.
That's 161. That's 2 1/1000ths of a second quicker than Chastain. How'd he do it, Mike?
Watch this. He got very loose off.
Yeah.
Corrected it, and it started wobbling with him, but I don't think he ever pulled his foot back out of it. And that probably was the savior.
We were watching the tracker, and it never really changed.
Wow, impressive run from Dean Thompson.
This could be fun to watch tonight, huh? Ryan Preece.
We know he's going to be good, always good when he jumps in these trucks. Won his first ever start last year at the Nashville Super Speedway, which we're going to go to in just a few short weeks.
And top 10 in all 3 starts this season. Former Cup crew chief Chad Johnston, the crew chief on this truck. Potential winner.
Yes.
Oh, we had to hold on to that one a little bit.
Another one that didn't let off the gas while he was doing it, Vince.
Tracking fastest, you see there in the green in the bottom portion of the pylon by better than a tenth. Now 2/10ths quicker than Dean Thompson.
I didn't see any cloud cover go over this racetrack debut because it's the speeds of picking up. Look at this lap time.
How about it?
That's a heater.
Underneath 30 at a 29.90.
Cycle the motor. What's your water tip?
Could that procure him the pole?
I think it'll be close. And when he says cycle the water, what he means is he will actually shut that engine off and then turn the engine back on to just get the hot water out of the engine block and through the radiator.
Special race for this young man, Austin Wayne Self, from right here in Texas, Austin. It's down the road. This is a big event for this group.
It's got Don't Mess with Texas on the back of that number 22 truck. You can see it there. He's Texas proud, and this is a big event. You said it, Vince, for this young man and his team. Fighting the wind, fighting the heat, foot on the gas.
You can see our cameramen having the challenges with the wind. Self with a couple of top 10s early in the season.
That's kind of an example of a guy that maybe didn't get to the green flag quite as good as he wanted to, but was able just to steadily pick up some positions throughout that lap and is going to settle in right now in the 6th spot.
Rolling out is Tate Fogelman. Durham, North Carolina.
Winner last year at Talladega.
Yep.
12th is Tate's best finish this year, and that was early in the season at Las Vegas.
Well, that gives him a little bit of confidence, Phil. This is a track a lot like Las Vegas, 1.5 miles in length, mostly in the gas all the way around the place. So having that best finish there gives you some confidence with your not only your truck, but your setup, your team, your ability to adapt to this track.
You know, we talked earlier about Colby Howard knocking on the door of a top 10, others knocking on the door of a top 15 or running top 15 consistently or top 20, whatever the case. How do you handle the different level of expectations when you come into a series and you're, you know, most of these guys, they're coming up from somewhere where they have been running up in the front race after race after race, and now they come in and maybe a top 20 is a good run.
I tell you, for me, it's just seeing constant improvement. You know, if you get in one of these trucks and your teammates all run around 20th and you're able to hop in there and be 20th with them, and then you just say, I can get better, more experience, more speed.
A lot of different agendas out there. Who's going to be the fastest? Right now, it's Ryan Preece.
2.
Hot and steamy Friday afternoon at Texas Motor Speedway. Track temperature up over 125. Breezy. It is a little bit challenging out there coming off turn 2 in these trucks as we qualify for the Camping World Truck Series race later tonight.
Seen a couple of big slides over there off turn 2, and I predict, Phil, if you're one of these truckers and you leave turn 2 and you have your truck right up toward the fastest, when you get to turn 3, you got a lot of confidence. You know you're going to go through there wide open and probably bring back some more speed to the checkered flag.
Jesse started off the year with a great 6th place finish at Daytona.
Running a part-time schedule for Young's Motorsports, and while we watch Jesse finish up his lap, we'll go to Josh.
Yeah, and Stuart Friesen able to make qualifying this week. Remember last week he had issues getting out of upstate New York, missed practice in qualifying. Bubba Wallace had to stand in for him. I said a lot smoother this week. He said no, actually had an issue with his flight again last night, so he ended up going back home and he flew out this morning. The good thing, he was able to make it here for practice and qualifying. He's feeling confident, and you know they've had a streak where they've been struggling to get back into the top 10, so they're looking to have a good run here today to kind of get some momentum so they don't lose too much traction as to where they are in the standings right now, guys.
As we watch Haley Deegan in her qualifying effort, looked like a little wall contact there, wasn't it?
Look at this lap, though.
And wide open through 1 and 2, though.
Oh, and just so close.
Just drops off the top spot.
Still a great job, though. Great job by Haley Deegan.
What about her telling us?
29,932. Good job.
Telling us her plan. I'm going to go for it and see what happens. This is what going for it looks like. Oh, just no harm, no foul. That was just a light, easy brush. Sometimes when you go through a turn wide open, you need to take a breath when you come off the corner. Maybe she took that breath and it slipped out to the outside a little bit, but still a great speed. She said it too, Phil. She liked her truck. She knew that she had something she was happy with, and it proved.
Those DGR trucks between Priest and Deegan being very strong as you watch the 51 of Corey Heim shoot to the top. We were talking in the break about what's the pole speed going to be, and I think one of you said a 70 maybe. How about a 63 from Corey Heim?
I think it's going to be a 50, but that's a great lap. Corey had a lot of speed last week too. So, you know, we wondered about KBM. You mentioned it, Vince. The fastest truck was 7th in that practice session, but they were focused on race setup. Now they put a good qualifying time in. Don't think those 3 trucks won't be the trucks to beat tonight.
I think the key is if you're able to run through wide open in 1 and 2. Not everyone has been able to do that. We saw Haley do that with a great lap. Obviously, Corey Heim as well.
Here's Tyler Ankrum. Down just inside the top 10, 8th quickest. Josh?
Yeah, I'm down here with Grant Enfinger. Last week before the race, I asked you how you're feeling about the truck. You said you didn't feel great about it. After practice, how you feeling this week about the 23?
A lot better than I did at this point last week. So Charles and Ike and everybody at GMS Racing has been working really, really hard on our Champion Power Equipment Chevrolets, and we're making gains on it. Feel okay about it after practice. Still need a little bit of security to drive it hard in traffic. If I was racing by myself, we'd have a pretty good truck right now. So I told Charles just need to be able to yank on the wheel a little bit more in traffic. But overall, I think we're in the ballpark.
In the ballpark and trying to get better as he heads out for qualifying in a few.
Well, he's ended up putting some pretty good results on the board the last couple of weeks. Back-to-back 3rd place finishes as Chase Purdy right there next to his teammate Tyler Ankrum, 9th fastest.
Yeah, we saw Chase come off turn 2 about 3/10 off what our quick time of Corey Heim was at that point in the racetrack.
Well, we heard from Colby Howard earlier with Josh. Here he is in that 91 truck, and just and around, and significant contact to that backside. Wow.
Back up truck.
You heard the word.
He was going for it. He had a great corner going. He was in the green.
That's why that 1st and 2nd corner are so difficult, because it's just so tempting to try to leave it on the floorboard, and that thing just got a little bit loose with Colby.
He had the commitment, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Look at that. That's the commitment too the team has, just to get to that truck as fast as they can and unload another truck.
So you see the 15 of Tanner Gray backing up. He was next to go out, but they'll do a track inspection, clean up some of the debris left on track by that 91 truck in the collision.
Yeah, a lot of damage. You obviously heard the crew chief in a matter of seconds say get the backup out.
Right there, it just starts to slip up the hill a little bit, and then
I think he was gone even before he got his right rear in the track.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It was getting complicated. His relationship with that turn was getting complicated.
Well, that's got to be a terrible feeling.
It is, especially we just talked to him.
Yeah.
And we talked about how much speed he has and how close he is to creeping into that top 10. And then this is a real blow to this team's chances tonight.
Well, it will put their backs against the wall, that's for sure. Getting that backup truck ready to go, and depending on how prepared that backup is, that could be quite a bit of work. Corey Heim still with the top spot. Yeah, a little fun at the racetrack.
That's how you get on the big hoss.
Yeah.
Do a little dance. Get down tonight. There it is. Vince, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm a pretty accomplished dancer.
We've heard. Yeah, we've heard.
Luckily, you haven't seen. So
we've seen plenty. Back downstairs to Josh. He's with a guy that's going to challenge for the pole a little later, I think.
Yeah, I would say so. Chandler Smith, the only guy so far this season to finish top 5 at all the mile-and-a-half tracks. How do you keep that going and contest for a win?
Shoot, I didn't even know that, to be honest with you. Consistency. We stick with the same package basically every single mile-and-a-half we go to. Try not to beat ourselves and focus on our group, our little team here. So that being said, I think we have a really fast iBuyPower Toyota Tundra. I think our truck is just as fast as iBuyPower computers. So with that being said, I'm excited to go qualify.
Thanks and good luck.
And wasn't that Xfinity Internet? Is there more people that are fast? iBuyPower?
Apparently.
I like it. Those guys down there on pit road getting ready to qualify. Young racers, love what they get to do, and know that if it weren't for the sponsors like Toyota and TRD, the folks that are on that uniform, along with iBuy, you wouldn't get to do what you love to do.
That's right.
He's telling PR guru Andy G, I got all the sponsors in and found out I'm the only driver that's been top 5 at all.
I'm having a good afternoon.
Yeah, man, that was a good interview.
I'd get under that umbrella that John Hunter Nemechek has back towards the back of the field there.
That lap, what do you think? Corey Hyman at 29.63, Phil. Is anybody going to beat that?
It's going to be hard to beat. I think the pole's going to be right around that 63.
Chandler Smith, one of the 4 drivers who has notched a win this season, and you see there highlighted in yellow the winners. Down there, that yellow line underneath the name Matt Crafton, that's a line that got guys a little concerned. Tanner Gray, Derek Kraus, Ankrum, DiBenedetto. Can you, we've got several races to go before the end of the regular season, but should those drivers below the cut line, can they get there on points, or do they have to win yet, you think?
Well, I think you put a couple good races together with some good stage points, and a couple of those guys up above. You see Crafton at +20, Grant at +24. Maybe they have an off race, and you can swap that out.
No doubt. There's still plenty of time to point your way in. Now, you're starting to get more and more concerned with every race that goes by. Even if you're Matt Crafton there above the cut, you know, he well knows. Whoa, that's aggressive. He well knows that if somebody wins, he's out. Just that simple. I don't know if I like all that highness.
We have 8 races left in the regular season. You can get a maximum of 60 points per race. That's 480 points available yet before the regular season ends.
You're below that cut line for a reason, though, so you got to pick it up, and you've got to make sure that you take advantage on the day that those guys above the cut line happen to have a, you know, subpar day.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, this guy, Tanner Gray, started out so good at the beginning of the year. What, 3 top 10s in a row to start the season?
A couple of top 5s.
Yeah, falling off a little bit now, but we know that he has the ability to get back going. Jerry Baxter is crew chief. Leads that team first time over here with David Gillen Racing, so the potential is there for Tanner Gray to get back above that cut line.
And Gray's teammates at DGR, Deegan and Preece, right
the bottom there too, was low off.
Impressive qualifying efforts so far, and Gray's going to slot right there with the teammates, as you'd expect.
I mean, Corey Heim is almost 0.3 of a second faster than the second fastest truck of Ryan Preece. What a lap by Corey Heim.
Certainly.
Carson Hocevar, teammates with that 40 and 41 and the 44 as well, for that matter. So should you expect Hocevar somewhere around that 5th, 6th spot?
I would have thought so.
He's loose though, Phil.
And he did. Yeah, look at the tracker going the wrong direction. He didn't come off. He didn't get to the start-finish line with a lot of speed either. He was over 1/10 of a second off as soon as we saw the tracker come in.
And I was watching him during practice earlier, and it was just he got better and better during that session. He didn't have fire-off speed, and now he's struggling here. But that was just because of that big slide down in turns 1 and 2. I expect him to be able to contend tonight.
11th.
He's just happy he's got a truck left after that slide.
A couple of runner-up finishes this season. In fact, he's been runner-up 3 times in his young career. Still looking for that first win. Here's Stuart Friesen, was really good on the 10-lap run. In fact, I think was quickest on the 10-lap average in that brief practice. See what he's got in a single lap speed.
Really good corner. Most of the guys that have been able to have a good corner in 1 and 2 do not lose any ground over here in 3 and 4. He may lose 3 or 400ths of a second, but still going to be a solid qualifying effort here for Stewart.
It's going to slot him in second. I just did the quick math on that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. You were all over it.
I got a smile and a wink from Russell. It's like good work, Walter.
That's big for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Russell's
approval. I seek his approval, yes, Vance. There's never been truer words spoken. Because, you know, sometimes stats just tell the story. They don't even really need
Isn't it amazing? Sometimes they do, and sometimes they just don't.
They don't mean
anything.
It makes you shake your head, right?
Here's Derek Kraus. They're one of those guys below the line that we believe is capable. Tracking for a top 5 run here in this qualifying effort, and gets it. Flat.
That McAnally team that his teammate Kobe Howard wadded a truck up, so had to be on the back of his mind. You know, do we have another one over there?
I think he might have been just a tick more conservative down in 1 and 2. That way they can have all hands on deck for the McAnally team to get the backup prepared for Colby Howard.
Here's Matt Crafton, one of 3 former Texas winners in the field, joining Todd Bodine and John Hunter Nemechek. Bodine has won here 6 times.
That's a stat that is awesome, isn't it? Because
sure is.
You never see such dominance. I remember Brendan Gaughan back in the day. He had his arms around this place.
Swept it in back-to-back years.
Yeah, sure did.
4 in a row.
His rookie year too was one of those years, and then his sophomore year won both times here at Texas. Back when we ran here twice a year.
I miss old Brendan Gaughan being around. He's always a lot of fun. Big smile on his face.
See him at the racetrack every now and then. There's Grant Enfinger. Crafton, by the way, outside the top 10 with his qualifying effort. We heard he and his crew chief Jeff Hensley a little bit earlier during practice discussing some handling issues, so maybe not quite a big surprise that he's down the line a little bit in his qualifying run. Here's Enfinger. You've heard Grant mention multiple times throughout the course here in the early season, saying GMS just still looking for a little speed, and well, that's different, isn't it? I mean, that's an organization that typically has speed in spades.
But remember, we had 5 GMS trucks running full-time last year, down to 2 this year. Brought Grant back over from ThorSport to lead the charge here at GMS.
Speaking of ThorSport,
Christian Eckes.
Christian takes the green, right on track to be challenging for this pole. If he can get off turn 2. A little bit of a slip there.
I was here shortly after the garage opened this morning, and Christian was down there helping the guys unload the truck and getting the truck through inspection. He was pulling a wagon full of parts and tools and stuff.
Don't you love that? I did the same thing in Dover for the Xfinity cars. I walked in there, and Noah Gregson was pushing the car through inspection. Just had won Talladega the week before. Had the boom box up on his trunk and singing with the team. Man, sometimes this sport just captivates me. I love everything about the experience of being in NASCAR all these years.
29.89, third quickest for Eckes, and now his teammate Ben Rhodes.
Noah was a coach for the Better Half Dash last night for Luke Lambert's wife.
This isn't going exactly like he hoped. A little bit low there on exit, like he didn't have the momentum or speed as he entered or left the center of the corner. Starting to rebound a little bit.
Rhodes, an expert dirt racer. Or at least he looked like it in Bristol, right? He won both stages, led the most laps, won the race.
He can win from there, 6 so far.
In fact, the average starting position of the Texas winners is 6th.
39 of our 47 previous races here at Texas, the winner came from a top 10 starting position.
Well, here's Chandler Smith, and his teammate Corey Heim currently has pole position at a 29.63. Let's see if Smith can challenge.
It's going to be a solid lap, but I don't think it's a pole contender.
Doesn't look to be.
There's just not a lot of speed to be gained down in 3 and 4 because these guys are able to run wide open. Guys and gals able to run wide open down there. All the speed gained or lost is down in 1 and 2.
6th quickest for Smith, 29.98.
Becomes the 6 guys to run below 30 seconds. You see Ben Rhodes right on 30 flat.
Here's John Hunter Nemechek. Back-to-back poles. Can he do 3 in a row?
Yes is the short answer. If he can just get off turn 2. And look, is he high? No, he's perfect.
That truck really looked good through there.
Slips just a bit, but still in the mix.
It's going to be all KBM front row as of now.
Look at that.
How about it? John Hunter Nemechek back to the green and good enough with a 29.61.
Show up P1 right now, 61. I'm running 64.
Impressive run from John Hunter Nemechek, last year's winner here at Texas.
This is cool. Let's ride through 1 and 2.
Sorry, fast. Ooh, that first pedal was okay. Then when he had to get back out of the throttle the second time, you could see the tracker move. Not going to be the lap that Ty's looking for.
The next to the last qualifier, Majeski and then Zane Smith.
I always like those corners when you got to them, Phil, you could run wide open around them.
Yeah, me too.
They just seem to be so much more fun. I think I was better at it, too.
It was a little bit easier, actually.
So Majeski 10th quickest after being the fastest in practice, and that brings us to Zane Smith. Ready to take the green, and his qualifying lap is underway. Can he top John Hunter Nemechek?
What a season Zane's had. You see him, though, he's tracking almost a couple of tenths of a second off right now, John Hunter's time. You see him currently 16th. That'll probably get a little bit better when he gets down to 3 and 4 and able to run this truck wide open through there. But it's certainly not going to be the lap that Zane was looking for.
That's surprising. Last time we
Indeed.
saw Zane, he was absolutely in domination mode.
And he is 15th in qualifying. That's a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it?
Sure is.
No problem for that guy, huh? John Hunter Nemechek, the pole winner for the 3rd straight race. It's an all KVM front row that'll start us tonight at Texas.
There's a reputation on the track, being built this very minute. It looks into the eye of the competition and screams, "Bring it!" Loud enough so the whole world will see it coming. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I am NASCAR.
Texas Motor Speedway qualifying complete for tonight's race in the Camping World Truck Series. And for the 3rd straight race, it's John Hunter Nemechek winning pole, and he's with Josh.
Yeah, and John Hunter Nemechek, we learned that you're fast, 3 straight poles for you. What else did you learn out there that can help you for tonight?
Just made the right adjustments on our fast Tom Thumbs, Albertsons, Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. So hats off to the guys here on the 4 team, everyone back at the shop, the Fab Shop, Rowdy Manufacturing, everyone that helps out. We have a lot of great brands on our truck this week, and a whole new paint scheme. First race for this sponsor, so looking forward to seeing what we can do tonight. Starting up front, it definitely will help, and I feel like we have a really fast truck. We made some adjustments after practice, like I was telling you, and I definitely feel like we're going forward. So excited for tonight.
3 straight poles for John Hunter Nemechek.
And he won this race from the first starting position last year. Also didn't have qualifying last year, but he certainly earned it today with that impressive effort at 29.61. And first time that drivers won 3 consecutive poles in this series. Got to go all the way back to 2010, 2011, Austin Dillon.
Wow.
So over 10 years since that's happened.
Shows you how competitive things are. Great qualifying run there for Stuart Friesen. He didn't get to do that last week.
How about Haley Deegan, 3rd row?
As well.
Yeah, best ever qualifying spot other than the dirt race at Knoxville last year for Haley. Good job.
Grant Enfinger there in 11th. Talked about needing just an adjustment during the race to be as good as he thinks he can, and maybe he gets that. He gets his first win of the year.
Ross Chastain there in row 7. A little bit of a surprise. Zane Smith in row 8.
That'll be a couple of Chargers, won't it?
Yeah.
How about Matt Crafton back in row number 11? Another surprise. There's our buddy Ty Bodine going to make his 3rd start of the year back in row 12. A 6-time winner here at this racetrack.
And filling out the field, Brett Holmes, Timmy Hill, DeBenedetto, Colby Howard crashed in qualifying. And Lawless Allen, Chris Hacker. Hacker crashed during practice, was unable to qualify. And unfortunately, Garrett Smithley and Armani Williams did not make the show for the race tonight. Real quickly, how do you see it from what we learned in qualifying to what we got going for the race tonight?
Just like John Hunter said, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait for tonight. And that's the case here at Texas Motor Speedway. A lot of speed and a lot of slipping and sliding. It's going to be a great combination.
KBM stuff's going to be pretty strong tonight, Vince, as usual.
Race Hub coming up next. Xfinity Series practice and qualifying coming your way as well. Just keep it on FS1. The right place all night long. Plenty of racing from Texas Motor Speedway.